Good evening. My name is Odie Hawkins, and it is Monday night, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It is Monday night.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Welcome, Zola Salena, and you and your silver jacket.
I think
You are just so, oh.
Yes, it is.
Look at me, I've got rubber bands and a wrist on.
Well, I am Odie Hawkins' wife, so.
Okay, so we can take it from there.
We can go from there.
This evening, I think is a very special evening because on Saturday afternoon, we were at Bilbrew Library receiving a proclamation from the city, an award from the Friends of the, well, you take it. I'm
Okay. Friends of A.C. Bilbrew Library and the Bilbrew Writers Group, Workshop, I should say, they got together and they decided to honor Odie Hawkins with a Lifetime Achievement Celebration, an award. And while they told us about it, there were those in the Writers Workshop and the friends that put it all together. And it was an extraordinary good event.
It was.
And we thank Ron Dow for broadcasting it on Facebook. And we thank Maurice.
Rose Mitchell, Pat Forte, you could just go on and on.
Well, we thank
Charles Chapman.
Charles Chapman, Charles Howard.
Yeah, Charles Howard. People
Your
who spoke.
grandson.
Ramarish Hawkins.
Gregory Hawkins, yes, who.
Ruby Castillo.
Okay.
Melody Nicholson.
Alfred
Rees, as I call him, Lord Alfred Rees.
Okay.
You could go on and on. Rogelio Acevedo, who was now the temporary director of the Waxhaw Arts Center, I think.
Well, he's assisting, I think, while Miss Hooks is out. But yeah, and so.
Okay, there was.
So
anyway,
many.
the people were there. In addition, we don't want to get to the audience. It was not a huge audience. There were not 1,000 people there, as you could see.
Mm-hmm.
But the people there were very important members of my life. I mean, I was shocked to look up and see one of my nieces, Angela,
Right.
flown in from New York along with her daughter.
New York or Chicago?
Chicago.
Okay, Chicago.
Flown in from Chicago.
Uh-huh.
And very old good friend Ron Dobson and his wife Joyce came.
Okay. And there was Patrick Collins.
Patrick Collins and his lady were there.
Right.
Did I mention Howard? Charles Howard?
Yes, you mentioned Charles Howard.
I could mention him twice because...
Oh, and your capoeiristas.
The capoeiristas were there. After 40, 50-some years doing some form of capoeira, either capoeira regional or capoeira Angola, I wound up being there with two guys who date from 40 years ago. The person who introduced me to capoeira was a friend named Cedric Adams, a marvelous artist, He said to me 50 years ago, say, hey man, are you through with that Taekwondo stuff that you, I said, well, I didn't want to say to him, yeah. I mean, I've had my back almost broken, I've been kicked in the head and all kind of stuff. He said, well, hey, we have this brother here from Brazil who just got here. He's married to a lady named Ileana Guerrero Ramos. Her name was later changed to Enrique Garcia. Anyway, Enrique do Nascimento. She became Mrs. Do Nascimento. These Portuguese names that they have now, just incredible. Anyway, Cedric turned me on to it, and we started doing capoeira. I think this is like 1987, something like that, in Enrique and Ileana's backyard, the back area of the house they were living in. Later on, they bought a house, and that was in Silver Lake.
Right.
So we went from the backyard of an apartment building to a nice open area up in Silver Lake.
Also, there was Joni Harmon, the Sentinel
Mm.
journalist. Okay, she was there, and Sun.
You remember her last name?
Yeah.
I could not remember her.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember which one. But we had lunch a day or two before with her.
Mm-hmm.
She's a columnist for the Sentinel,
Mm-hmm.
and
She works at UCLA also.
we had a very pleasant 2 hours. I think it was supposed to last for half an hour or something. But you know, when you're enjoying people's company, time is just
Right.
nebulous.
Right.
So
Definitely.
yeah, she was there. We had
Steve Rifle.
Steve Rifle was there. We had Mrs.
Sunny.
Sun Hee Park. Mrs. Park was responsible for doing the cover for a book I wrote called Ancestral Meridians.
She's an extraordinary artist as well.
You can tell from the name she's a Korean artist and a very fine one. I was lucky to have had her do the cover for Ancestral Meridians. I had another Asian lady named Mrs. Su-Chin Lin who couldn't make it to this one, but I wish she hadn't been able to be there. You were about to say?
I was saying, why don't you read your proclamation?
Well, I have my glasses here.
Yes.
Remember when you needed your glasses, Pat Forte? Now I need my glasses. They said to me, County of Los Angeles, Odie Hawkins, honoree, Lifetime Achievement Celebration, Bilbrew Writers Workshop. With sincere congratulations and best wishes, the Board of Supervisors of the County of Los Angeles does hereby join in your celebration, and it is signed by Mrs. Holly Mitchell, who's the supervisor for the 2nd District. And this is what it looks like.
Right. We'll be getting a frame for it in the coming week, sometime this week.
Well,
And, yeah, extra special.
a lot of people tend to be very blasé about awards and things. I don't, because for one thing, it indicates somebody's paying attention to you.
And it took too long for us to get awards
Well,
for our
yeah.
accomplishments. Okay?
I agree with that.
Okay.
Too long in some ways, but also there's a lot of politics involved with having awards given, especially for so-called minority writers and artists. I don't know, but the things always seem to wind down to something less than politics. It's just more than politics. To have the County of Los Angeles give me this award by way of my writing workshop mates means that somebody petitioned.
Right.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have known who I was, or they wouldn't care who I was. So this offers me some recognition. In addition to that,
Yeah.
they had this up
Yes,
there.
they did, huh?
Well,
That's the storytelling honoring.
I've been honored with that title too, and I think it has something to do with the fact that I was known as a very astute fabricator at one point. But it's all in fun, you know, when people say, okay, for example, Eve Martin and Cedric Adams, the two capoeiristas that we spoke about earlier, came. And Eve used to be the butt of a lot of my fabrications. Eve started looking older than most people very early. When I knew him 40 years ago, he didn't look much younger than he looks now, which is about maybe, I don't know, 92 or 102.
Oh.
So I always used to say to him things like, Eve, you're playing capoeira at the way you, and he's a superb angolero. Eve, you look at how well you play capoeira at 103. And he would always say something like, Odie, he has a gravel voice. What are you talking about? I'm not 103, I'm only 92. This is when he was 42.
No.
So he could get back at me. He had a very dry way of being. Cedric, of course, the superb artist, has always been one of these people who measured his words very carefully. So if you want to talk to him, you have to really be patient, and he'll let you know I'm a guy from East Texas, and we don't talk fast and quick. So,
making their point.
yeah.
Definitely. And so it happened in L.A. You know, the event happened in L.A.
Right over there on Nelson
And,
Goodman.
you know, and then the people came from some distances, in fact, to attend the event. And Norma Rosen, she and her daughter, yeah, came
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Definitely. So, you know, it was kind of a bit, I think, almost overwhelming, you know, because it was, you know, we knew the event was coming.
Well, you know, I have to say to the audience in general, and to my wife in particular, she has been marvelous and a mainstay in all of this. She has supported me and been my partner, because 17 or 18 or 20 of my books have covers done by none other than Zola Salena-Hawkins, the lady who's sitting next to me with all this finery on, making me look like a peasant or something. I'm not going to have this happen continuously, because people are beginning to talk. They ask me, why do you look so broke?
You don't care about what they say. We don't care. You know, we love each other, and it's all.
As I was saying.
It's all.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
But, you know, I think it's important indeed to recognize people while they're alive.
Well, that was the other thing, too. Having a tendency to be a little bit sarcastic. When I was first notified about being given a lifetime achievement, I'm thinking, what lifetime? You know, how many, which one? Because I feel sometimes I have really been living at my age now. My next birthday in July the 6th, I'll be 88. And I can tell anybody, I started feeling like 87 last year. Last year when I had my shoulder cuff, not coat, but the whole shoulder
Was
replaced.
bothering you, you know, because it was not this year that it was replaced.
Oh, that's right. That's
January 14th. But all of last year, believe me, all of last year, he was in so much pain.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's when you begin to say, you know, I wouldn't be feeling this if I was 27. So this must have something to do with becoming older. And that is when I become older. But what it did, it acted as the catalyst for me writing a book that I'm calling Old School. I got old from my experience, and I got school from this lady here, who said, well, what about old school? The other part of it, well, the other part of it has to do with, so often I've been thought to be old school. You know, that means you're tough and you say what you want to say without any...
Don't take any crap.
Well, why? I mean, in relation to the people in the writing workshop, for example, they were always a little bit timid about accepting my critiques because they've considered them old school.
They are.
How many ways can you say to someone, you just don't have the talent to write in a way that's going to be appeal? It may appeal to your mother and your father,
Sisters
and
brothers.
your family, sisters and brothers.
Yes.
But the competition out there amongst people is so strong, the competition among very talented people, that it would be misguided, it would be misleading for me to say to somebody, and I'm not going to mention names, but it would be misleading to say, you have the talent to compete in that market. I don't believe. And so you can consult somebody else, but this is my opinion. So that gives you a bad reputation amongst some people.
You know, I just was thinking also in the audience that several of our friends won in the raffle, which was really cool. You know, Catherine Bayard, she won.
Our next door neighbor.
Right, and Regelio, he also won. Okay, so it was nice. Though I did have to laugh when I pulled out the first ticket. It had your name on it, and I was like, "No, that's not happening."
Okay, we had to put that aside. I think you did a very wise thing, because the only thing I would have thought the fix is in.
Right?
The fix is in.
It's like, oh, yeah.
The raffle game got people what? Books?
They got, there were several bags that Pat Forte put together. And so most of the authors, those that have published books, put 2 books in the bag. However, you put 1 book and a flash drive with your 15 of your radio plays.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And so Pat said she wanted to take that. And also, we had the lays that, that Alma had given us.
A member of our Tai Chi group, her last name is Santos, and for the award itself, since I know she's very stickler about being identified, I identified her as Lala Leku Lalani Santos. Leila Leku Alani Santos, it's a made-up name. She had given us these 2 lays from Hawaii.
Real lays, I mean, real flowers.
From Hawaii. They'd been shipped from Hawaii. We felt it would be only right and generous to give the lays to somebody or to people who had also worked hard to make this day happen. So we chose Rose Mitchell, who has been a whirling dervish about the things happening at the Bilbrew Library, and also Patricia Forte, who is awesome. I mean, the kind of, the bio that she did of me had me shrinking in my seat thinking, oh, is that me? So we transported these ladies from our backs, from our necks, to those 2 ladies, and I'm glad we did. They deserve those things.
It was nice. The Charles Chapman tended to be the MC, and so it was Charles and the other writers, Ron and
Karen Johnson, Ron, yourself. Zola is a photographer, but she doesn't want to call herself a photographer. Zola Salena-Hawkins is a writer whenever she can take time off from helping me with my junk to concentrate on her stuff. And I could say to her, you know, without any hesitation, I would never be able to say to her, well, this lacks talent, and let it go at that. All I could say is that this lacks the time that you need to make it better. Which means having the time to do 3 drafts or something, because stuff is very seldom done well the first time. You know that from teaching Tai Chi.
This is true.
In addition to that, I don't know if we mentioned our Tai Chi family, but we had a number of people there from 3 different Tai Chi groups that we go to. Alfred Reeves, that's the Saturday afternoon group. We go to the park on Wednesday.
Yeah, well, we had Alfred. We had Alfred, we had Ruby, we had Ronnie, Alma, Catherine.
Go on and on.
I'm trying to think from just that one Alfred group, and then from Melody on Stern Champion on Wednesday, there was Melody. Oh, also Fred.
Sure,
okay.
yeah.
And,
Fred Lim.
Right.
From 3, we call them Tai Chi family because that is what happened. If you do this particular thing long enough, you begin to gel into a family thing. There are people ask you things like, "Well, how's your shoulder? And, how's your baby, Nancy?" Let me slow down. The Wat Sao's Art Center Tai Chi group. You know, one of the ladies, Nancy Velasquez, has a child named Sebastian, and occasionally we will find out, you know, how is he now? I think he's 2 years old now.
A little older than that.
You know, anyway.
Yeah.
They were there, and the meaningful thing to me is the fact these are people that I relate to on a day-to-day basis. They're not faraway strangers. Some of the people who did come, like my friend Ron Dobson and his wife.
Stranger.
Yeah, you know, we felt seldom see each other.
Right. But, you know, it's acceptable. And then, you know, because it was live stream, Roger Crothers and who else?
Oh my God, who else?
Yeah. There's some people who made comments during the live streaming. And so that just added to the moment.
Did we
in
mention
time.
Miss Mitzi? Mitzi and
And Vinny.
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay,
Vinny and Mitzi. We met them at the Tom Lesser last book fair up in Glendale.
Right.
And very, very gorgeous people.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing you in the coming year.
Definitely. All right. So I think.
Okay, let me take this down and try to sell you a couple of books.
Okay.
I can advertise my handsome face all day and all night, but it will not encourage you to buy any one of these books that you find.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How do you find them?
On Amazon or Google Odie Hawkins, or check out his website, www.odiehawkins.com. And it's Odie, O-D-I-E, not Odd. Okay. And he's a member of the Authors Guild and the Writers Guild of America. So,
And the Bilbrew Writers Workshop.
and the Bilbrew Writers Workshop, definitely. So he thoroughly enjoys his talent, and I enjoy it because he's a book writer.
It was a fun afternoon. Thank you,
Everyone.
everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Gregory.
Thank you very much.
And Amarish for putting that
Oh,
video together.
my grandson.
Okay, last
Oh, my
minute,
grandson.
when he heard I was having problems, and said, "Grandma, you know I do that."
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I was like, whoa, all right.
Wait a minute,
So-
I think he was sent here to spend a few days because when he left, he took the solution for everything with him. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. But you didn't find out he was able to delete.
Well, until I told him I was in a bind, and he stepped up to it, and so really enjoyed his visit with Olivia, his daughter, and looking forward to.
Who's an
Annabelle.
awesome, great granddaughter.
Okay.
You, great granddaughter. I'm speaking to you.
And so it was unfortunate that Russell and Gay couldn't attend, but I'm sure they were there in spirit, as well as Palmer and Lerner.
Palmer, Lerner, Virtue, all of our friends. You know, it's the kind of thing that makes you feel, I feel, it makes you feel that the people who were not there were there.
Yeah.
They were there in spirit. I felt at one point Dr. Margaret Burroughs all over me, who was saying something like, see, you didn't have to go to jail to receive recognition. You didn't have to go to jail to receive recognition. I'm making a kind of a little fun out of this, but this was my mentor at DuSable High School, who was the first one to say, here's some paper, go write, and stop doing that other stuff.
Right. It's important.
So,
Yes, indeed. And write something other than love letters.
I was making, this is another story. We'll continue it when we come back to you on Monday.
Okay, and so this moment in time is just our way of saying we truly appreciate all those who took the time and the effort to make it
Saturday afternoon?
such a precious moment in time.
Oh, man.
All right, enjoy, okay? You can look on Facebook or on Facebook for the live stream of the event,
This is what they gave me.
the Rondell,
They gave me this.
and was it Compton for Cops or Cops for Compton?
No.
It's one of those. Forgive me, Ron, for not remembering the Facebook, but that and Charles Chapman, Rondell, and Patricia Forte have books. And thank you, Ron, for mentioning Rona White.
One of the members, a very vital person, passed before
Yeah.
the event took place. But she showed with every Zoom we had how much she was involved with what was happening with the workshop. And
Well, with the organization, I mean, even coming in to help, set up the banking and everything after radiation. And so
yeah, she was
truly a special person.
We'll miss her.
We will. All right. With that, those who want to write, if you don't write every day,
You're not a writer.
you're not a writer. And write for more than your family.
And you don't have to just use this. There are other means of writing I found over the years.
Oh, you did too. Okay. All right. With that, bye for now.
Ciao.
Ciao.